What's up, guys? Your boy Dave here for Bum MMA, and I'm going to be giving my predictions to UFC Fight Night Namajunas versus Tracy Cortez, taking place in the Ball Arena in Denver, Colorado. Now, before I even get into these predictions, Colorado is 5,280 feet above sea level, and if you know anything about distance, that makes it a mile up. So we're going to see if that affects some of these fights, but I think it will. So I'm leaning towards fighters with cardio. But this is just an absolutely amazing card. The UFC really just shows how much stock and effort they put into these fight night cards. Like, is there anyone greater than the UFC? I mean, we got such fights as Cody Brundage versus Abdul Razak Al Hassan, which is just amazing, and it does so much for the division. We got fights like Viviana Arahu versus Jasmine Judavicius, which is, I think it's been on all our radars for this whole year for that fight to take place. So I can go on all day about how amazing, great this card is, and just thankful for the UFC for just, really caring about us. You know what I mean? So anyways, I'm going to start with how did I do it last time? I think I'm going to start with the prelims. So first fight, we got Montel Jackson versus Damon Blackshear. This one was just added, as far as I can as far as I can figure, it was just added last night or something. But Montel Jackson, Damon Blackshear, two tall, rangy guys for the division. Blackshear is more of a MMA guy. He'll mix it up, strike, grapple, submissions. He's very well rounded. I actually think he's pretty damn good. And Montel Jackson, he's more of a striker with some really good takedown defense, but he likes to keep it on the feet and keep a slow paced fight where he can pick you off and land his big power. So I didn't have too much time to go over this one, but I'm leaning Damon Blackshear. I think he's tough and he's got a good chin, so I don't think Jackson's going to knock him out. And I think his pace is actually pretty good. And his grappling, his willingness to grapple and take the fight into other directions. I just have a feeling he's going to be able to outwork Jackson. Jackson, he does not fight a whole lot. He's fought once every year, I believe. Which, if you put it into perspective, if he's getting, say, I'll be generous, we'll say he's getting $60,000 to fight before taxes. So after taxes, that probably goes down to about 40,000, thousand. So he's been making 22 an hour maybe for like the last couple years. So I hope he can stay active, but since Damon Blackshear has been more active, I'm going to trust him to be able to start fast and maintain a pace throughout the fights. But you can see Jackson, because he's obviously very talented, he hits very hard, so you can see him hurting Damon and maybe finishing him. But I just think Blackshear is going to be able to take the power and just outwork Montel Jackson. So I got Damon Blackshear by unanimous decision. But again, I didn't get to do too much research. It just came out last night. All right, moving up, we got Joshua Van versus Charles Johnson. I was leaning towards Charles Johnson just because Joshua Van's whole style seems to be, what it looks like to me is get the guy to his back to the fence, use the jab to set up the 1-2. And that's about it, is to land the big right hand. He does have some kicks. He'll throw a leg kick every now and then. He'll do some body shots, but only if you're like blocking against the cage and he can land them. He doesn't have the best setups. It's kind of just pressure, slowly pressure, be very, be like a rock. Pressure, jab, right hand, 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 low kick, jab, right hand. Just from what I've seen. And against Charles Johnson, he is very slick. And he's got good movement. He's got good defense. But he makes like almost every fight close. And I think the fact that he likes to back himself up against the cage, he's kind of playing into Joshua Van's game. But also Joshua Van's kind of playing into his game. So it becomes this kind of like, I don't know, just this weird dynamic where Van's trying to get him to the cage. Johnson's going to the cage willingly, but Johnson's got good movement on the cage, good lateral movement, and Joshua Van's got good cage cutting and good power. So I'm going to trust Joshua Van to land the bigger shots, not get hurt by Charles Johnson, because Charles Johnson's, he's not a big puncher. He's more of like a kind of guy that uses his pace to win fights. But I think Joshua Van's power and the willingness of Johnson to back up against the cage is going to make Van come out looking better. I don't think he's going to knock Johnson out unless he's the first one, or one of the first ones. But yeah, I got Joshua Van by unanimous decision. But I can see it, or a split decision. I can see this being very similar to like the Zalgas fight, where it's just, what do you rate more, the volume of Johnson or the power of Van? And I think Van, the way he carries himself, is going to look real good to the judges. So I'm going Joshua Van by a close decision. Josh Fremd versus Andre Petrovsky. I'm going to take a fucking risk here. I'm going to go Josh Fremd. Petrovsky, the thing is he's a very explosive, powerful guy. But he doesn't set up his striking very well. He doesn't really like have subtle footwork. He's got these big movements where he bursts in because he's very fast and strong. He bursts in and he looks for power shots. But against certain opponents, Malkoun dropped him with a jab just because he ran in with his head right there. And that ended up getting him finished because he shot a takedown and shot his head right into, what's his name's hip, Malkoun's hip, and knocked him out. So not looking good on the durability for Petrovsky. And Josh Fremd, he's not the fastest, he's not the hardest hitter, but he is pretty good. He's got some good striking, he's got some good kicks, he'll keep distance, he's got good scrambles, he's got wrestling. Actually, I can't go Josh Fremd. He got submitted by Tresean Gore. I'm going Andre Petrovsky by submission. Now that I think about it, Fremd, he is good, but he's not dangerous enough. I don't think he's going to be able to time Petrovsky coming in. And I think if Petrovsky is able to get it to the ground, it can make it... this sucks, man. Picking Josh Fremd is risky. But I already have it written down here. I'm going Josh Fremd. Never mind. Disregard that. I'm going to go Josh Fremd by late submission or close decision, because I can see Petrovsky slowing down and Fremd causing him to shoot a bad shot and maybe latching up some sort of choke. But I think that's one I'm going to get wrong. But I already got it. I'm already picking Josh Fremd. Moving up, next fight, Viviana Araujo versus Jasmine Judicious. I'm going to go Jasmine Judicious. She just looked pretty good in her last fight. Her striking looked all right. She's strong. Viviana Araujo just kind of plods forward looking for combinations. No head movement. She kind of looks like a not as dangerous and aggressive Amanda Ribas. Watch them fight side by side. They both kind of fight like with their heads like this and their hands really up, and they kind of both plod forward with really bad footwork. And Jasmine Judicious, she just seems like, I just feel like she's a better fighter. So I'm going to go Jasmine Judicious, of course, by decision. Luana Santos versus Maria Agapova. I'm going Luana Santos. I just coin flipped this one. I couldn't get a read on this at all. So, yeah, I'm going to go Luana Santos. Just not much to say. Maria Agapova kind of been exposed. She's not that great. Yeah. I just think Luana Santos will be able to control the fight, probably outdo her in the clinching against the cage. But I can kind of see a tedious kickboxing fight, but I'm hoping it's good. But I'm going to go Luana Santos. Yeah, I don't know. Next fight. Ooh, here we go. C-Rod, Christian Rodriguez versus Julian Erosa. Now, most people are probably picking Christian Rodriguez because you see Erosa keep getting knocked out, keeps getting stung. But then you look at Rodriguez and you realize he's not really stinging people on the feet. He's more of a puncher, volume puncher, good boxing, into takedowns. And Erosa, that's not the style that typically beats him. Typically, when you see Erosa lose, it's to dynamic people who catch him in a very bad defensive position. I think Erosa just loves brawling. he's a fighter in his heart. He doesn't seem to give a shit. He wants to hurt people, and sometimes it seems like he's willing to just jump into the fire. And I think against Rodriguez, that could actually work really well. Julian Erosa's got really good takedown defense and really good jiu-jitsu. It's just on the feet, he's a liability. Rodriguez does land good shots, and Erosa got knocked down by Ricardo Ramos, and Ricardo Ramos is not necessarily like the hardest puncher in the division. You know, I don't think that's controversial to say. And he still fucking knocked the hell out of Julian Erosa. I just think Erosa, he starts slow, and he's just right there to be hit. So I have to go Christian Rodriguez. I can just see, even if Erosa's starting to win and starting to wear down Rodriguez, I think Rodriguez is tough and fast enough to find openings and catch Erosa. And I'm going to go Christian Rodriguez, possibly his first knockout in the UFC. But again, Erosa is a veteran, and he is tough. When he gets hurt and he doesn't go out, he's actually more dangerous. Because I just think he's a little cold at the beginning, and he's not really braced for shots a lot. But when he gets hit and he comes back, he becomes a whole nother beast. So I can see Erosa swarming Rodriguez and probably knocking him out, but I'm going to go Christian Rodriguez just to stay safe. And I think he might catch Erosa. But I'm going to go by decision, because I don't trust him to knock Erosa out. I just think he can land big shots and wobble him and steal rounds. So I'm going to go Christian Rodriguez by decision, but that should be a really good fight. Moving up, Cody Brundage versus Abdul Razak Al Hassan. Yeah, I'm going to go Razak Al Hassan. I think Cody Brundage could finish Abdul Razak Al Hassan. He is wild. He will bite down on his mouthpiece and swing, throw a flying knee. He'll grapple. He's a strong guy. He's an athlete. He's just not very technical. He doesn't seem to go in there with like super coherent game plans. He kind of seems like he's just an all-rounder. He's like, well, wherever they don't want the fight to go, I'll take it there. But I think against someone like Al Hassan, you have to have a little bit of a good game plan, because he's very simple. He will press you up against the cage, hopefully. He'll land hard low kicks, and he'll come in swinging on you if you leave yourself open. And he's got good takedown defense against, what's his name? Not Bo Nickel. Against, what was the guy's name? Joe Pyfer. Razak Al Hassan was actually coming back in that second round, landing good low kicks and hurting Pyfer. But he has a tendency to overswing, and Pyfer was timing some good double legs. But I don't think Brundage is the type of athlete that Pyfer is. And I think he's going to run into something and end up getting knocked out. So I'm going to go Abdul Razak Al Hassan by knockout. Brundage's grappling did look good against Nickel, but still ended up getting finished. Yeah, I'm going to go Abdul Razak Al Hassan. I'm going to go by knockout. I think he's just going to catch Brundage. Going up, we got Gabriel Bonfirm versus Ange Loosa. I got Gabriel Bonfirm. Ange Loosa is a striker, a very basic striker. And it's just kind of crazy, because I used to look at him and be like, man, this guy is super slick. But the more I watch him, the more I realize it's jab, cross, step to southpaw, right hook, and a couple kicks that he uses. When he gets going, he's really good. When he can feel comfortable, work the body, combinations, leg kicks, he still went really hard with Jack Della Maddalena. But I think the fact that when he's worried on the feet, he will shoot takedowns. And against Gabriel Bonfirm, who kind of got bullied by, not bullied, but he kind of got broken by Nicholas Dalby. But I don't think Ange Loosa is that type of fighter. He doesn't have the flexibility of Nicholas Dalby. I have never seen him really come back. He's not like a super aggro type guy. He's more of a slick striker who's doing whatever it takes to win. And I don't think against Bonfim, who's a specialist, he's got big power, he will bite down, unless he's changed after that Dalby fight. But he'll bite down, swing, shoot takedowns, and his submissions are nasty. So I'm going to go Gabriel Bonfim. I think he might be the first person to submit Angelusa. Co-main event, banger. Of course, we're all looking forward to this fight. It determines who obviously is the greatest of all time. Santiago Ponzinibbio versus Muslim Salikhov. I got Santiago Ponzinibbio. Salikhov has actually not looked as bad as people think. He was actually going into the Randy Brown fight with a good game plan. Calf kick Randy Brown, try to counter the jab, which is Salikhov's whole game, is cross counter the jab, back up, spinning back kick, cross counter the jab. When he goes forward, he is not dangerous as much as he is when he's countering. Santiago Ponzinibbio, his whole game is the jab. Against Alex Morono, was jab to the body, jab to the body, jab to the body, jab to the head, jab to the body, jab, overhand, boom, knockout in the third round. His jab sets up everything. Salikhov loves to counter the jab. So this is where I'm stuck. It's either Ponzinibbio is able to use his jab to back Salikhov up and just tee off on him, or Ponzinibbio throws a jab out there and Salikhov does a cross counter and knocks him out cold. So garbage men are here. So I'm going to go Ponzinibbio. I'm going to trust him to be able to outwork Salikhov to a decision, possibly a late TKO. But man, Salikhov, he's still fast for 40 or almost 40. I think he is 40. He's still fast, and Ponzinibbio just hasn't looked very durable. But I'm going to stick with Ponzi. I'm going to go by late finish, late TKO, but Muslim Salikhov's whole style is designed to counter Ponzinibbio's best weapon. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm going to go Santiago Ponzinibbio, but I'm not confident. Main event, short notice, Rose Namajunas versus Tracy Cortez. I think Rose Namajunas is just a little beyond Tracy Cortez at the moment. Cortez's striking looked good against Jesuiti Vicious, but if you really watch it, it was because Jasmine would stand there and Cortez would just do 3 punches with her head stationary and then eat a counter. She's tough. She's got a good chin, but when she's striking, her defense isn't great, and her footwork isn't the best. Especially if you're moving, she's going to constantly be having to find Rose, and it's going to make it harder for her to land combinations, especially because Rose, should I even break down Rose? She switches stances, she comes in with 1-2, she angles off, she's constantly using angles. But the later the fights go, Rose has a tendency, she'll start fast in the beginning of like rounds, and then she kind of slows down and she stops bouncing so much and she starts standing in front of you. And if she does that with Cortez and tries to blitz in with 1 shots, she's going to be eating some combinations. Plus, Cortez has the wrestling. But Namajunas is a fucking menace on the ground. And I just don't see Tracy Cortez being able to hold her down or to win the striking exchanges. But Namajunas is kind of scared of this style because Carlos Esparza scared her and made her super hesitant to engage. And if Cortez can get that same fear into Namajunas, we might get an all-time stinker. But I'm going to trust Rose Namajunas to just outwork Cortez. Maybe if this was a full camp for Cortez, I'd pick her. But being in Colorado, Namajunas trains out there. The footwork advantage, the experience. I'm going to go Rose Namajunas. I'm going to go by unanimous decision. But I think Cortez will make a good account of herself. But yeah, so there's my picks. I got Rose Namajunas, Santiago Ponzinibbio, Gabriel Bonfim, Abdul Razak Al Hassan, C-Rod Christian Rodriguez, Luana Santos, Jasmine Jasudavicius, Josh Fremb, Joshua Van, and Damon Blackshear. And that's going to do it for me. This is, of course, the fucking card of the year. We are all super excited. Just wanted to get this one out there. But yeah, thank you for watching.